We live and direct. In my previous life as a rapper, not my previous life as a Knights Templar monk, but
Mm.
my previous life in this life as a rapper, I used to love going on radio and doing interviews, but I would get like high and drunk, absolutely just like high and drunk. And I remember it was downtown Toronto, going on this interview, and it was like a mic like this. I don't have this mic connected. This is the one I do my like shorts or my YouTube channel with, and I use a
Mm,
something called a snowball ice for this show and like when I'm coaching.
mm,
And but it was like a mic like this, you know. So we're in the radio, and the mic is like this, and I'm just high and drunk, and I'm just like, yeah, man, you know, token. This is what it is, and blah. And I used to talk like that type of thing. And then and I brought my buddy one time to this radio station. He wasn't a rap, nothing. He was just a bread. He was literally just a friend. And I was like, we were having lunch and drinking. And I'm like, I got to go downtown to do this radio interview. You should come. And he's like, heck yeah. And we get high and we get drunk. And then we go to do this radio interview. And this guy's on radio. And he's like, yeah, man. And he would just say the craziest things. Like in the background, he would just be like, church. And he would like get
mm.
right into the microphone and be like, church. And it was so funny. And the radio station, they loved us. Obviously, they knew we were just way out of our minds. And anyways, just for whatever reason, when I said live and direct, that was the thought that came into my head. And it was a memory I haven't actually had in a while. And I don't know where that guy is now, man. I hope he's doing all right. He was a big druggie. Big druggie. You
Oh
know,
man.
were you big into drugs?
No, I wasn't actually. I was a bit too neurotic. Too like scared of losing control. So I wasn't so much um into drugs, but very obsessive and neurotic instead.
We all have our thing, right? For me, I
Yep.
did all kinds of drugs. I'll talk about the drugs I've done in a sec after. Jimmy Walker, in my second week in, and I've been having urges like hell, but I stay strong. Jimmy, first of all, congratulations, brother. 2 weeks. It's good, it's good, it's good. Now, as far as urges, urges will be there. Urges are sexual energy. I want you to think of a plug, male, female, and a ground. So, why is that ground there? That ground is there when the electrical circuit has surges, too much energy coming through. You have to ground it. Okay. So, similarly, if we look at ourselves as an electrical being, like the physical body is driven by electricity. Thoughts are electricity with information stored in it. No different than a sound wave. Like if we were just talking about being on radio and right. So now imagine if I wanted to get on a certain, if I wanted to listen to hip hop, I have to put it on the hip hop station, and then I'll catch Jake Emlyn live doing his thing, spreading conscious rap all over the world. But I have to tune into that frequency to get there, right? So thoughts are frequency. Your body is running off frequencies and electricity. So sometimes sometimes a lot, when you are retaining, for sure you're going to have urges. So don't ever think that urges are bad. In fact, you want urges because you want to be horny, but you want to be in control of it. It's like, you know, Jordan Peterson has that famous kind of like quote where he's like,
Become a monster and then control it.
control it. That's where the virtue is born. Okay, here's our version of that same thing. Become so horny, then control it. Because that's where the virtue is born. The virtue isn't born in depleting yourself of your sexual energy, aka masturbation, porn, blah, 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 blah. That's not where the virtue's born. That's not where character's born. That's not where integrity is born. That's not where willpower is born. And it's all those things that you need, by the way, to have a successful business. You have to have tremendous amounts of willpower. You have to have tremendous amounts of self-motivation. Nobody's going to like ring your bell and be like, okay, it's time to get up and go to work. That's what people who work for others need and do, right? When you are in charge, though, and you want to be in charge of your own life, when you're the leader, and as men, we're all leaders. I'm talking about building a business in the context of career, but in the context of our families, in the context of our communities, in the context of our congregations, in our, whatever else we're doing in the world, we're leaders, whether we recognize it or not. Now, a leader is somebody who's going to be self-motivated. He's inspired by his own vision, and it's not even his vision, but it's the vision coming through him. That same electricity that beats the heart is also giving light, consciousness to a vision. And he's leading that vision. He's surrendered to that vision. So you want to be horny, then you want to control it. Now, how do you control it? Well, we're going to be talking about that in today's episode. Definitely learning the grounding techniques.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
standing meditation Monday for me. Yeah, just saying.
Every Monday you do standing meditation.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm doing it
Yeah, I used to do it in the morning. Now I'm gonna try it in the evening, but yeah, every Monday, because I feel like grounding is a good way to start the week.
Definitely. Depending on the person, of course, some of you need like more like tumo breath and maybe some cultivation and circling the microcosmic orbit because you're very water or you're heavy, you're lethargic type of thing. For yourself grounding, and you were talking about neurotic, right? You're right. So that's gonna help, right?
Yeah, I go for all the calming ones, man, in the program. Like I don't do tumo breath too much or these energizing breaths. I'm just all like qigong and standing meditation. Like I really go for those.
They're so practical in our everyday life, and then some of you guys need balancing. I would also recommend with your standing meditation an alternative nostril breathing to balance out the masculine feminine channels.
I tried that today.
Yeah. So what happens when you guys come and you train with us and you learn the practices of sexual alchemy, you take these techniques and they're applicable to everyday life scenarios. So here's how you use this technique when you're thinking about, jerking off. Here's how you use this technique when you're in a work meeting and all you could think about is, banging that girl off Tinder. And you're like, look, I'm meeting her tonight, but right now I still need to be focused and get my work done, right? Like, it's like all of those things is like, you have to be able to actually have tools of techniques to deal with it. If not, it just, your mind runs wild and it runs crazy and all that kind of stuff. So I brought up the grounding piece because standing meditation actually helps you ground your energy, just like the grounding in the male-female, the surge. So if you think of your body as electricity, now you're retaining, you've got tons of energy starting to expand within your system. It's like electricity starting to fire off from your balls because it's like, oh yeah, we've got all this energy. That's great. Your sperm is swimming, man. Your boys are like, and that carries all kinds of energy, and that's sexual energy. So it's creative and energy. It's just no different than a sound wave that carries a song on it. You can't see it, but if you tune into the right frequency, you hear it. So when you have lots of sexual energy, you have lots of energy, and then you control it through sexual alchemy, and direct it to your vision, your purpose, your destiny, what you want to create, whatever suits your boat. I have realized one thing, and this is the one thing that every wisdom tradition, and I believe every culture agrees upon. Every religion has disagreements on certain things. Is God blue or black? Is God yellow or white? Should we use, should we draw the lines on our face with a letter or not a letter? Like we disagree on so many of the practices and cultural differences, because those are all individual manifestations and expressions. But the one thing that every tradition agrees on is that you become what you think about. Now, here's the funny part about that. 90 to 95% of your thoughts are subconscious. But when you practice semen retention, it brings up, because you have so much energy in you, it's literally like water filling up in you. It's bringing up your subconscious, which is your body. It's bringing up all of your programming, the good, the bad, the ugly. So it's going to bring your best qualities and your worst qualities up to the height. Then you get to straighten it out and deal with it. And that's why most guys relapse, because when it brings up the anger, the frustration, the lust, when it brings up the trauma, the guilt, the shame, the self-loathingness, the victimhood, when it brings it all up, most guys don't know how to deal with it. So they go, boom, 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 let one off. So you want to have techniques and practices to support you in retaining your semen and then being able to cultivate tons of energy and then pour that into your vision. That's what we teach guys how to do in our training program inside of our training grounds. So reach out, connect.
Hey, it brings so much up, man. Not only horniness, but you're like Nicola said, whatever you are. So me being, like I said, a bit neurotic and anxious, when I first started practicing, I was like feeling even more neurotic and anxious, because it brings up the subconscious, but it gave me a chance to deal with that and work through it, which I'm doing more and more. You know, better than it just being underlying subconscious patterns that are running your life. You know, you bring it up to the surface, and you can use anything and reprogram it. So it's very powerful, but you should know that before you start it, things are going to come up. But it's good.
Yeah, it's part of the gig, man. It's part of the game. So Jimmy, thanks for starting off the conversation with that. Quickly, I'll tell you the amount of drugs and what kind of drugs I've done, because we started with that off. So it's confession time. It's confession time right now. Here's the drugs I've done in my life. I'm trying to think back. Okay, ecstasy, yes. Cocaine, yes. Shrooms, yes. Marijuana, yes. I'm trying to think anything else. Coke, ecstasy, shrooms, marijuana, caffeine. It's a freaking drug. I'll put it in that category. Most people don't, but they're like, oh,
alcohol.
We're talking about hard drugs. It's all the same. Oh, alcohol, definitely drank. I think that's it. Leave in the comments.
Remember. Yeah, write down loads of drugs in the comments.
What drugs have you done? Let's get honest, because the journey to transformation starts with honesty. Because you can't transform something that's not real, and lies aren't real. So you have to be direct about what you're going through and get down to the root of it. We're going to be talking for the rest of the time about the subconscious mind, how to rewire it, its importance, how to protect ourselves in and win the war on masculinity. We're going to be talking about 3 defense techniques that you can use to protect your energy, get great at semen retention, get great at live a high energy, a high vibe life, how you can use it and use that to go on the offense when it comes to winning the war on masculinity. Because it's not good enough just to be like, hey, masculinity's under attack. We're the men. We should attack back. And that doesn't mean attacking women. It means attacking the other men who are exploiting the weaknesses of society. So we're going to be talking all about that. Let's get into our opening track. 15 minutes into the show. Let's get into the opening track.
Soldiers retain. Real strong men and self-control. Their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into your brain. Your whole game will change. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain. Real strong men and self-control. Their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into your brain. Your whole game will change. Soldiers retain. Soldiers retain.
Soldiers retain.
Semen retention soldiers. You know, our boys are retaining
Yeah.
within the Semen Retention Army. And the Semen Retention Army is our support groups when you register for the sexual alchemy training. Now, how do you register for that training? You reach out and you connect with me. You send me a direct message because you're a serious student. You're a serious practitioner. You're like, you know what? It's time for me to up level. You reach out, you send me an email, or you get on my website, nakuladaz.com, and you say, yo, Nakula, it's time for me to become a master of my sexual energy. I want to take that and I want to pour it either into my relationship, my health, my income, or all of it, or my spiritual journey. I will show you the process to do it. So reach out, connect, and we can help you retain. General
Retain.
Jake,
Yeah.
what's going down in the groups? Give us a little bit of the general's report. What's the challenge this week? What are the guys working on? What are we talking about inside of our support groups?
Well, this week is a challenge that I was relating to a lot. That's why I started it. It's about redefining goals. You know, it's good to set goals, and many of us, you know, we set goals at different times, New Year's resolutions, or we might whimsically say, "Oh, I've got a goal." But I think goals, we should be very conscious about our goals, like anything, like really, really specific and conscious. So in the Semen Retention Army, we set goals and then we also track them. So it's not just you say one time to yourself, "Oh, I want to retain for a month," and then you just forget about it and you never hit the goal because you set a tracking sheet and you say my goal is 1 month, and then someone like me holds you accountable and it's like, oh, you this is where this is how long you lasted or whatever like that. So it was just about redefining, because sometimes we have to check our goals. Maybe we're not taking them seriously enough and we need to really push ourselves and, hey man, I set a goal, my word is my bond, that's my vow, and I'm not doing it. Come on, man. Or maybe you set a goal that's way too high and just never going to reach it. So, or this time you're not going to reach it. So it's just impractical and it's making you feel like you're not progressing. So maybe like the example I gave, in most people who start in the army, we say we want to retain for 1 month, but some guys, they can't do it. So I'm advising just say 2 weeks or 1 week to start with, and then smash that goal and then go more. And then before you know it, you'll be doing 1 month. Don't say 1 month if you know you're not going to do it, and then just keep on every month not hitting your goal, and then you get down about it. And then, you know what I mean? So it's like just really being focused and conscious about goals. Choose the right goals that are realistic for you. And then when you choose a goal, know that that's your vow, and then hit it. Like, there was no way I wasn't hitting that 1 month goal when I came into the army, because I said I would, innit, to you, and you're gonna be checking. So it's like
Right.
I had to do it, you know. So it's just about goals, which are very important.
It's super important, man. And yeah, it's a great challenge. I think you were spot on with the idea of like with jigging, consulting with our goals. And in our higher level trainings, we take guys through a whole goal setting process for their businesses and their lives and their vision, right? Which is much more in depth, where you're creating a vision, a mission, you're creating your tracking sheets so that you're working towards those. And then that's why it's so important to track too. It's important to track anything you want to progress in, you want to track, because when you track, the numbers start telling the true story, as opposed to your emotions and all your biases or fears. The mind is so clever at twisting things so it matches and keeps us safe, right? We were talking about this earlier on our leadership call, which was like, the mind can just, we think we're making a decision for one reason, but underneath that, there's another reason. And it's based upon some insecurity or fear or whatever it is that we may, and we all have that stuff. That's why it's so important that we use these tools, that we develop habits that eliminate the craziness of the mind and eliminate the whimsical nature of the mind, but we focus and train our minds to become like laser beams towards our vision and goal, where nothing can stop you because you're not seeing anything but solutions. You see a challenge, you see a solution, you see nothing but solutions, and you see nothing but the end results. And then you transfer all your sexual urges and power and intelligence and charisma, and you pour that into your goals. That was the mystery of sex transmutation that Napoleon Hill speaks about, and exactly what we're teaching. It's exactly what you're doing with the guys this week inside the Army. So look, guys, if you want to be part of all of this, again, the next step is simple. Reach out, connect with me. We'll jump on a call. And on that call, I'll take you through the entire process so you can understand it. Decide at that point, is it for me or if it's not? And if it's for you, great. We move forward, and there's a bunch of different options and payment plans and blah, 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 blah. Everyone's like, how much is it? Or, how much time is it going to? We'll go over all that in depth, and there's different ways to do it so it can really work. Anybody who wants to really work with us and do it, we find a way for you to do it. Like, there's nobody who's coming like, I really want to do it, but I have some obstacles to doing it, whether money or finances or whatever, that we don't figure it out. So if you just want to do it, book the call.
Looking for sincere people who seriously want to do this. So, we actually want to help and give value. So if you're really interested in this, then contact us and be brave and find a way. Actually, just want to big up one of our soldiers. I think this week I'm going to big up Kevin, actually, because he was saying so many good questions in the group. I believe he's one of the long-standing soldiers in our movement, and I just wanted to big him up because he was saying some cool stuff in the groups and inspiring others.
Yeah, he has been, and he's been through challenges like all of us, personal challenges and ups and downs and all that kind of stuff. And so it's really great just to see him stepping up in a big way. But that's when you have techniques, training, support, it's environment, right? And the people you're listening to. So thanks, brother. Awesome, man. So comments are coming in too. It's Krishna Baladeo.
There's some drugs what came up in as well.
All right, we'll check those comments out at the end. Let's talk a little bit about our topic today, which is 3 energy defense techniques to protect yourself. Now, this is coming from last week's conversation, because last week's conversation, we were talking about the war on masculinity and how we can win that war. And we talked about the 5 different ways in masculinity is being attacked. Now, we're not going to go over those. You guys can go to last week's episode and listen to that and check that out. But just for the sake of today, we're just going to say, and I'm sure everybody here is smart enough, wise enough, aware enough to understand that masculinity is being purposely attacked, and generally as a political weapon or tool to subdue and control us. There are many shifts happening in the world. Very elite circles are making decisions which are changing the world. And we could see it in all the turbulence, the wars, and the different things going on. Masculinity is under attack because it's an old military tactic. It's been used in many, many times. It was used in World War II by the U.S. troops against the Nazi troops. It was used against the Israelis, against the Palestinians. And I'm not saying I'm for or against any of these people. I'm saying all countries, the Chinese would use it. Like, this is just a well-known attack in military circles, that when you are looking to subdue or weaken a nation, you attack their masculine core. You attack the men. You weaken the men as much as you can. Because men are the pillars. Masculinity is the strength, the framework, the groundwork. Those are the characters of masculine energy. Progress, hardworking. If you get a bunch of lazy men, nothing gets done. There's no direction. There's no focus, because that's our duty. And we have to do our duty. And right now, we're not doing our duty in a big way because we're being depleted through masturbation, pornography, and the endless amounts of self-pleasure that we engaged in. I was literally listing the amount of drugs I've done, or the different types of drugs I've done in my life. And I should actually add into that, put porn on that list, because that is also a drug and should be put right in that category. So I would add porn to that list as well. And here's the deal. When you grow up in a culture like I did, where self-pleasure is the name of the game, get laid, get paid, and don't give nothing back. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean, the Pirates Code. Do you know, you've seen that movie, Pirates of the Caribbean?
Nah, I don't think I watched it properly.
So there's a part where Johnny Depp, who plays Captain Jack Sparrow, is recruiting members to be part of his entourage, his crew, to run a ship and go after the treasure. And at the end of this conversation, they make a deal, with him and this other pirate make a deal to recruit this group of pirates. And so he says, what if somebody falls behind? And he's like, stick to the pirate's code. The pirate's code. He who gets left behind stays behind. And then the other one that they had and they cheers onto was take everything, give nothing back. Right? This is the model. This is the consciousness of the pirate. That's essentially the consciousness of most people.
Yeah, pirates.
Because that was my consciousness. Right?
Yeah.
Take
individualism.
Individualism. Take
pleasure.
Everything, give nothing back. Self-pleasure. You are the center of your own world. And when we fall into this, which largely as a culture we have, the damage is so great because we end up just chasing pleasure all day long. And because of that, we lose sight of the bigger things. We lose sight of our spiritual consciousness. We totally ignore the needs. We prioritize profit over health. We prioritize so many things over our internal values that bring us joy. And one of the things is we become such a pleasure-seeking society that we forget our basic duty. Therefore, our basic way of feeling fulfilled is providing, protecting, and producing.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's imagine that I am country A, because I don't give a shit. All countries do it to each other. Like, you know what I mean? Some people are like, my country's better than your country. We're all doing it to each other. And we as a culture need to put an end to it. And the way that we do it is first we become aware of it and we stop participating in it. And so if I'm country A and I have a game plan to take the resources from country B, and I'm like, well, people don't want to go to war, and war is not, I don't really want to do it the old school way, not yet anyways. I want to weaken them first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attack masculinity, and I'm going to make them into a pleasure-seeking society. Because when they're a pleasure-seeking society, they're going to be distracted. They're not even going to realize I'm coming in. Yeah, they're going to be a selfish society.
Not going to work together.
Yeah, they're going to be a divided society. They're going to allow all their differences and all their ideologies to conflict, rather than realizing that you can have your differences, you can have your ideologies, you can have your expressions, but it doesn't mean we're not all one and the same at a deeper soul level.
It's both.
We forget that
individuality and collectiveness in one. It's not. Not so extreme one or the other.
It's not one or the other. It's both. And actually, the harmonization of both creates harmony. That's why when we harmonize as men, when we harmonize our own energies, when we are masculine and are masculine enough to also embrace femininity and protect femininity, not try to stifle it out or exploit it, then we have such a harmonious dynamic within relationships, and therefore within families, therefore within societies and family cores as a whole. So the point is this, is that masculinity is under attack. We need to be first aware of it. And once, if you're on this show, you're listening to this, you're watching this, you're aware of it, or you're learning about it, so you're becoming aware of it. What you need to do is be able to defend yourself. So there's 3 ways I'm going to give you. There's tons of ways, because there's tons of attacks, and they're always coming up with new attacks. So you have to stay sharp. You have to be alive in this game. Life is happening now. Don't be a passerby. Don't just be a watcher. Be a producer as a man. Engage your senses, engage your mind, engage your heart, engage your body, engage your balls, engage it all into life itself. So there's many different attacks, but here's the first thing that we want to talk about. The first thing that you want to understand, what you want to protect, is the feminine within you. And what's the feminine within you? your subconscious mind. So the analogy of masculine, feminine as a consciousness, as a spiritual teaching, often comes down as analogies between a man and a woman to give an example. We are manifest of those two energy. Women embody the feminine aspect of consciousness, and men embody the masculine aspect of consciousness. Their consciousness is one and the same. We're only splitting them to describe things, to give practical examples, to understand in our limited human capacity. The mind is trying to grapple with this idea of one and difference, and we're all the same and we're separate at the same time. So it's trying to grasp that. So we're giving this analogy and say, okay, like a man and a woman, and this analogy is actually plays out in the physical as a reflection of the spiritual of consciousness. It plays out in this world as man and woman. As so, man or masculine is the conscious mind, and the feminine is the unconscious or subconscious mind. The conscious mind gives the unconscious mind it leads it, but it also protects it. And I'll explain that, because it leads it, because the subconscious mind is where creation is made. So spirit injects itself into matter, and then matter shapes itself into the consciousness or in a reflection of that spirit. Does that make sense? Are you guys following me down the rabbit hole? Okay. Once you grasp that and you go, okay, then in this world, the feminine is a reflection of the unconscious mind, and the masculine is a reflection of the conscious mind. So meaning the masculine is leading or has been given the opportunity to be in a leadership position, and leadership essentially means it serves the unconscious mind. It's here to serve. A leader is a servant. They live a life of helping others. If a leader thinks about themselves more than they think about the others around them, they're not a leader. They're a pirate.
This is where it flips. The modern paradigm flips.
That's right.
Where it's simultaneously one and different, where it's the opposite of what you think. It's a leader is a servant, and yeah, this is where it's going wrong, because it's a perverted reflection actually. But as you're saying,
the material consciousness flips. It flips. So it's like looking at a mirror. You're looking at a reflection. You're looking at the backwards version of you. You have to look at internally and see the conscious and the spiritual. Once you see the spiritual, then you could see the right. It's like flipping the binoculars and go, oh, well, geez, it's so clear. It's so clear. It makes so much. I just do this, and I manifest what I want because I can see it. But if I'm looking at the binoculars backwards, I can't see nothing. I'm lost. So anything that comes by, I'm just grasping onto because I'm thinking, well, it must be something. So the subconscious mind is within you, and you have to protect it. The subconscious mind within you, because you captured a part of consciousness. That's what you are. You are part and parcel of the collective consciousness. You've captured an amount of it. So therefore, you've captured so much subconsciousness as well. And so therefore, your conscious mind, what you're consciously thinking of, you can implant like a seed. So the analogy is given that the subconscious mind or the feminine is like a fertile soil. And whatever you plant in it, it grows. And it doesn't care what you plant. It doesn't care if you plant goodness and a great harvest full of abundance and prosperity and harmony and joy, or if you plant poisonous plants full of negativity and skepticism and blame and shame and guilt and selfishness, all of this. So you have to tend to your garden of your subconscious mind. Now, here's when we talk about attacking masculinity, how you speak to the subconscious mind is you speak to it with two things. repetition and heightened emotion.
Mm.
These are the two ways to communicate with the subconscious mind within you. Repetition with mixed with heightened emotion. The fear being one of our most negative emotions, but heightened, activates the subconscious mind. It takes it in. That's why we have so many fear-based thoughts, because the subconscious mind is full of it. And that's why you have to heal. You have to go through a process of cleansing. Hence, our entire sexual alchemy training is generally, the first few weeks of the program is all about clearing the body of negative emotions. Even if you're not aware of it, it's like, clear it. It's there because it's in the atmosphere. So the subconscious mind picks it up through vibration, and it's in our vibration. We are living in a frequency and a vibration of turbulence. So we have to protect
healing sounds every day, man. Like, especially I like to do it when I wake up, because the subconscious can be very vulnerable at that time, and you're thinking so many things. So I like to just do some of those practices from early in the course, like healing sounds, to just get some of those things out, to heal, like gradually every day, heal a little more, and then heal the things that we absorbed the day before. Like, got to keep on cleansing, clearing out, man. You can't just walk around with all this subtle dirt on your aura that you collect.
We take a shower every day. We brush our teeth every day. We should cleanse our field, our energetic field, and our energy body every day. And that's sexual alchemy, the 6 healing sounds, as part of the techniques of doing that. So and you talked about the morning time. The way you protect your subconscious mind is you create a morning and evening routine, like a protective shield over your day, where you essentially spiritualize your body or heighten your aura with your vision and direction. It's like cleansing your mind in the morning and in the evening, because the subconscious mind, there's 3, let's say, gateways or doors into the subconscious mind. One is the process of heightened love or devotion. The second is heightened fear. And the third is sex, horny. You can use all 3. The easiest one to work with is sex, in my opinion, only because you already have it. Like, you no one needs to train you to be horny. What we need you to do is be in control of that horniness. But no one trains you to do it. It's natural. Worship is something that we have to learn and start to understand at deep levels to connect with it at a very heart level. So it takes more time and practice, but it's the most powerful. Sex essentially can be transmuted or alchemized into love worship. And it has to go through a process, a refinement process. We take guys through that process. The point is this, is that when you are heightened in those emotions, your subconscious mind is most open and you can plant it. So here's what marketing companies know. They put their product, their service, and then they put an emotion, they attach an emotion behind it. That's why all companies, do you notice that companies seem to be so radical now about their philanthropy work? Like, I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about like how Starbucks is like, for every loca choca mocha we sell or whatever, so many dollars, or these are conflict-free caffeine beans and blah blah, and all that's good. But do you think that Starbucks is motivated by philanthropy or by selling coffee and making money selling coffee? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but why everybody's attaching themselves to these philanthropic movements and these political movements is because there's heightened emotion there. And when you associate your brand with that heightened feeling, it lodges into people's subconscious mind. And because it lodges into their subconscious mind, it becomes part of their buying patterns or their habits. So that's why you have to protect your subconscious mind. And there's many different ways to do it. And we have all kinds of different techniques to show you how, but you have to understand and make that a priority. Because if you don't understand the techniques, or if you don't understand the power, importance of the subconscious mind, you're never going to manifest the things you want. You're essentially going to be a victim of your own life, meaning your life pretty much as it is today will essentially be your almost improbable future.
Mm.
That's why it generally takes something dramatic for somebody to make a giant shift in their life, because then your subconscious mind gets a heightened emotion and then you make the habit changes. But you can do it. The beauty about it is you don't have to wait till you're in some distressful situation or some crappy situation, or most people wait till that, like until their finances are totally horrible. Then they're like, I got to learn to make money. Or like when they're sitting in the divorce lawyer, then they're like, I really got to change my ways, right? It's like, because the emotion is so high, right?
Mm-hmm.
So protecting the subconscious mind. The second way to protect your own masculine energy and ultimately your power in this world is to cultivate and manage your energy well. Cultivate large amounts of energy and manage it well is by eating high pranic foods or high energy foods, real foods. I personally choose to eat vegetarian. Some people are vegan. Some people are carnivore. I choose vegetarian as my path in this life. From a sexual alchemy perspective, there's no like discussion about it, because whether a guy's a meat eater or not, he's horny and he can transmute his sexual energy. So the technology of sexual alchemy does not depend on it. However, you will get an upgraded experience. Everybody could jump on the plane, but if you want the first class seats, you pay a little bit more. The payment is austerity. So if you want the first class seats, you have to sacrifice more. So the more you sacrifice shitty food, processed foods, sugar foods, Mickey D's, Coca-Cola, all that bullshit, and you toss that out and you bring in real foods, and then you go more and more to high pranic food, and the highest pranic foods are fruits and vegetables fresh off the tree. Organic, highest. So as you move more and more towards that, or get more and more of that into your system, the more energy you're going to have. The second way is semen retention. And they're linked, because what you eat, according to Ayurveda, 30 days and 4 hours later, what the semen that your body is producing today through the bone marrow, because semen is dripping through the bone marrow and being collected throughout the entire body, that's whatever you ate 30 days ago. So if you ate shit 30 days ago, today you're feeling it. If you have you're like, why am I negative today? Why am I waking up in such a shitty mood today and nothing happened? You're not thinking. You haven't recognized the trigger effect or the karmic effect of the actions you decided 30 days ago. So it's important that you just stay consistently eating well, no negotiation about it. Then that becomes the quality of semen, and the quality of semen is going to give you the quality of energy, creativity, and intelligence, because semen is the building blocks for all of your cells and your brain cells and the finer tissues and your muscles and everything. So semen is the life-giving force. It contains all your best proteins, enzymes, and nutrients. It's also, that's why when you have a high quality grade semen, essentially, because you eat high quality foods, you then have high quality energy and vibration. So therefore you can become a high quality man and live a high quality life. When you practice semen retention, you protect your subconscious mind, you protect your energy, because one, you're cultivating lots of energy and you're vibing higher than any other man-made frequency. So therefore, you're not easily susceptible to the subconscious programming that's going on in all the marketing, and especially by the political propaganda machine. Semen retention also keeps you away from porn, and it keeps you away from negative habits. It keeps your aura cleansed, and it keeps you in an alkaline state, keeping you disease free. for longer periods of time. Yogis have known this for thousands of years and have extended their numbers of years on their life by practicing retention.
Yeah, what it does, I mean, both being vegetarian and practicing semen retention, I think, upgrades you because it lifts your consciousness. So therefore, energetically, you're up level, and you'll actually find that you start to attract higher level of things, or even higher level of knowledge will start coming to you. It's almost like you qualify yourself to associate with a higher grade of person and experience in life. So even, honestly, sounds weird to some people, even just by becoming vegetarian, like your life will change. You suddenly become qualified to associate with these people with a higher consciousness, because your consciousness has shifted. And of course, semen retention almost doubles that or something, because if you're already healthy and then you practice semen retention, it's like it enhances that even further. So yeah, if you want to up level and stop feeling crap, do this.
That's right. Totally. Because everything is energy. So you get to associate as you go up in energy levels, your association through the form of knowledge, through the form of people, through the form of its many, many forms, books, and even what you attract. Also, it's all responding to your energy. Everything is energy. And the intelligence of the universe, the Akash, the ether that holds it all together as an element in the material universe, is like a field in which this energy can maneuver and travel. So therefore, you can attract and bring in new things and experiences into your life. So by eating well, eating real foods, and then like not this weekend that just passed, but the weekend before that, I did a 3-day raw diet challenge and cleanse. So I just ate raw foods, water for 3 days. Felt fantastic. I had zero cravings. I had zero desire to even eat that much, yet I was full of energy. Right? So very powerful to eat higher pranic foods. So 1, protect the subconscious mind. 2, energy management and cultivation. And 3, sexual alchemy. Sexual alchemy is essentially the process of taking raw sexual energy, transmuting it into higher frequencies so it can be used as thought frequencies. And therefore, because thought turns into action, action turns into manifestation. So to create anything in the material world, to manifest it in this world, you have to actually act, because action you're using what is it? Newton's third law. For every action, it's the law of karma. For every action, there's an equivalent reaction. So action has to be there. And the way that you get into action, the way you direct your body to take the actions you want, is by directing your thought process. And you need to have a lot of mental energy and focus to be able to do that. That's why, I've got the entrepreneurial training that I do, because I fuse. And I think I'm the only business coach and men's coach in the world doing this right now. And what we're doing together inside of the army is we're fusing sexual alchemy with proven business strategies to explode men's results, because you're developing such high levels of thinking and so much mental power and energy that you're then directing it and becoming singularly focused on what you're creating. This becomes a very powerful technique and tool.
A lot of the other sexual alchemy stuff, it deals with some of the same subjects, but it actually gets even more sensual, a lot of them. Like it attracts a lot of perverted people. There's like more tantric sexual alchemy stuff, which is fine as well. They just want to go and explore their sexual energy, but they might get more distracted with sex actually, because they just want to go into now I'm going to try this is for it. But actually we're teaching how to use that, like we said, to use it and control it, and to not just then let it, take you further into illusion. We're teaching how to, we spoke before about, in order to let something go, you first have to hold it. So we're talking about becoming more conscious with it. So I think you're the only person I've come across who is going directly and honestly into that subject of sexual alchemy, and then using it in this way, rather than just leaving it there and going like, now you know more about Tantra.
Great. That's right. Yeah, the Tantra, the world is largely made up of like people who basically want to have sex still, lots of sex, and but they want to do it with some consciousness, which I think is a progress up. I think that's better than what most people are doing. So I love the Tantra community as well, but it is a lot of that too. And like you said, it's, to me, no judgment. It's still going on the right path. Like you're trying to bring consciousness into something that is recognized you are doing unconsciously. So I think there's a lot of good positives there.
What I really appreciate is what we spoke about at the beginning, goals. If you don't like have a goal for that energy, then you can easily still get distracted. And then, I mean, again, no judgment, but a lot of people who get into that kind of stuff, they're just hanging on the sensual experience of orgies or something. These tantric retreats is often a lot of people there are just wanting to have some sex, but I appreciate with what you're talking about is to use that energy for a goal, for a higher purpose, to serve, to do something with that energy. So that's what I think is very powerful about what you're doing in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. And of course, what you're doing as well, you've used it and put it into your art and what you're doing and leading the guys inside of the army here, and so we have something unique for sure. And it's this combination of, yes, here's how to transmute your sexual energy. And here, I've been a coach and trainer for close to a decade. I've helped people of all walks of life transform their life, both personally and professionally. I started as a sales trainer, and that's still, a large way of how I help people, helping, online businesses get better at sales and transmuting and really helping people master that ability. So the idea here, though, is that as you practice sexual alchemy, you are going to be able to protect yourself from the attacks that are happening subtly on masculinity, because you are going to be in your own body. Your mind is not going to be being dictated by anyone else. You're going to be in control of your life. You're going to recognize that when you think a thought, that's what creates a certain feeling, and that feeling motivates action. Feeling is the energy, and feeling is how you also communicate to the subconscious mind. So your dominant feeling is, if you dominantly feel like a king, you're going to behave like a king. And that's what a good sexual alchemy practice does. It makes you feel like a king. So therefore, all your thought processes are that of a king. And therefore, you're abundant and you're in charge, because a king isn't a victim. A king is sovereign. A king is making the decisions. The king is running the whole show. It's very difficult to be a king. Most people don't want to be kings. They want to be told what to do because it's easier. Most people want things to just be, easy. Most people want things to be comfortable. We all battle the need for wanting things to be easy or things to just to be like, but that's not the way it works. And that's not the glory of being a man. That's not the privilege of being a man. The privilege of being a man is you have both balls and brains. Use them both together and you are a freaking powerhouse man. Use one or the other. If you just use your brains, you become highly intelligent, but you lack power in the world. You're highly intelligent talking to 3 people in the corner because you lack power. If you have all balls, you have power, but you don't have brains, so you can't inspire people. You don't improve the world. You just you just become so powerful and lusty that you just take advantage of everybody. Hence our current leaders. Lots of power, little brains. Very lusty, no control. Virtue isn't there. Marry those two, become a powerhouse man. Your balls, your brains, your heart, one. Your light, your stick, your Jedi stick is coming. Your spine is aligned. Your energies are aligned. And your consciousness is there. So here's the deal, because I got a call I got to be on in 1 minute, a coaching call. I have a question. How to overcome feelings of negativity on some days, mostly after waking up. There was a question that just came in. All right, here's what I'm going to do, because we don't have time to answer that question. What I want you to do is I want you to copy that, take your highlighter, your mouse, or your whatever you're on your phone, copy that question, send it to me in an email, All right. And my email is nakula@nakuladas.com, or just go to my website, nakuladas.com, and send me a message, or just leave it in the comments, something where I'm going to see it, because I want to answer the question. We just don't have time right now. And then I will answer that question for you, and I'll give you a nice tailored answer, because I'll just be answering it for you. So I appreciate the question. We appreciate you guys tuning in, being with us. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Help us get out there. If you want to take the next steps and get serious about exploding your masculine energy, exploding your abilities, your quality of life, reach out and send me a message. Let's connect. We'll book a free call. I'll take you through the process of our training, and then you can decide if it resonates and move forward, or if not. Even if it's not for you, I promise you'll get a ton of value of being on a call with me for a half hour. Learning about the process itself is valuable, because we can talk about how it applies to your life and things you can use. So either way, the call will be extremely valuable. And for those guys who want to take the next step, you'll have that opportunity. General Jake, you're killing it inside of the Army. Any final words before we sign off?
No, just a fascinating conversation. We all need to protect ourselves and in this war against masculinity. And yeah, we actually have the tools to do that. So if you want to learn how to do that and you relate it to some of what we said, then yeah, come and find out more, because we really have some great practices and tools to help you do that, and to step into your masculine more, and to be a powerhouse man.
Boom. Love it, brothers. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Soldiers retain. Real strong men are self-control. Their info is plain. If you don't know, feel that energy flow right into your brain. Your whole game will change. Soldiers retain.